Some hang dormant in the halls. Others lie discreetly outdoors, set aside from the beaten paths through the UWT campus, and far enough removed from the usual lines of sight that most anyone passing by offers no more than a cursory glance. They wait to be noticed, while most people keep on walking. They are the works of art on display at the University of Washington Tacoma. We're all familiar with the red Chinook chandelier in the library tower. Dale Chihuly's glass sculptures are among the most popular pieces of art in the region. But few people recognize the depth and diversity of the other works on campus, which are able to stir the senses. There are currently 18 projects listed as on display at UWT, most of which consist of several individual pieces. Much of the artwork displayed on the campus was donated to the university, but other works, including Dan Sin and Patty Quake's Vertical Pendulum and Don Fell's Black Gold series, were financed by the Washington State Arts Commission's Art in Public Places program. Through this plan, 0.5% of the construction costs for certain public buildings throughout the state is set aside for public art on site. Several states have similar programs in place, some of them allocating a full 1% for art.
It's essentially a tax on the development of a facility. But instead of that tax going back to another agency, it stays with us, and it's there with the intended use for the acquisition of art.
The program ensures that local cultures and ideals are revealed and preserved through artistic expression. Buster Simpson's Parapet Relay is a good example of this. Simpson incorporated some elements of the building's history into this work. A series of louvers allows for the words atop the GWP building to change, depending on the angle at which the sign is being viewed. Seven different messages adorn the building's parapet, each speaking to the building's and the city's past. Simpson also created Free Speech Zone Palette, which was intended to be used as a platform for creative expression. Today, it hangs on a wall, far removed from its original purpose of supporting objects, whatever they may be, as a form of free speech.
You know, at the time, the campus was much less populated, so there wasn't a lot of student life, and the palette was just sort of sitting there unused. It was standing up behind the popcorn machine, and it was a really, it was a thoughtful gift, and it was a great idea, but it wasn't the right thing for the campus at that time in the campus's life. And it could be, eventually, but rather than having it behind the popcorn machine, I thought it was better to have it on the wall.
Another of the commissioned pieces is Brian Goldblum's Terminus. 20 chunks of granite arranged in V-shaped patterns outside the Keystone building, one of which is a little different from the others. Brian and his wife Janelle live in Amboy, Washington, near Mount St. Helens, where he does all of his sculpting. Goldblum's work is also inspired by a piece of history.
You know, part of my task was to decide what I was going to do and develop a project, do whatever research that it took to be able to connect with this particular place that the project was going to go. Part of the background that I was given, in this case by a historian, was that the railroad track that runs right through the middle of the campus is a prominent feature of the campus. It was part of the last few hundred yards of rail that completed rail service across the country, and it was this was the Northern Pacific Railroad.
That railroad ended here, on what is now the UWT campus.
And Tacoma was the first terminus of the railroad line on the west coast, or at least in the northwest.
So what do the consumers of these works think?
I know that we have a Dale Chihuly chandelier in the library that he donated to the university. I don't really know much else. I know we have an art gallery, but it's not really being used right now.
The works of art on campus, you know, I know about the Chihuly glass in the library. I'm not sure what else.
I don't think I really paid too much attention to it, so.
So it appears that the art has gone largely unnoticed. But why?
There isn't a lot of glitz to the art that we have. There's not, there's not an art walk around campus, which would be wonderful. There's not a lot of art that's in the public walkways as much as you'd like to see. So you kind of have to go hunting for it here, except for the Chihuly, of course. We could use some more drawing attention to the pieces we do have. The uses can be many, but culturally it's thought-provoking, and it gives you insight as to what the artist is telling you, and so it's a very it can be a relaxing thing, it can be a stimulating thing. It just depends on the form.
The general feeling is that public art on campus is necessary, but at the same time, it goes unnoticed, much less appreciated. Regardless of how one sees them, one thing is certain: the works of art will be there when people are ready to take the time to enjoy them.